are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to another Going Old School Retro Discussions with the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening, day, night, whatever the hell it is that you think it is. Because apparently with 21 million different flavors of gender pronouns, I guess it could be any time of the day that you actually want it to be at this point. So what's going on, everybody? What's going on, Jens?
Yeah, so we're on the air. Okay, well, I released a video and that, like, it's about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but it's not talking about the series itself. It's talking about those people watching it.
I tell you, I've expressed my thoughts on that over and over again.
Well,
and I just can't.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah, I won't delve too much into it, but yeah, Adam's here.
Hey, and what's going on, super fan Adam Shawhan in the Weird Dog Man?
I am back from a Pennsylvania run, delivering a puppy from yesterday. Nice 10-hour run. Dropped off the puppy, came back home, stopped at Wahlburgers, got some good food. Gentleman hooked me up with his employee discount even. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious, when you delivered this puppy, did they at least give you pain meds?
No, the puppy was good. The puppy was good. Basically, I just gave him a couple shots of whiskey. He passed out, drove him. No, we did not give the dog whiskey. Come on. But yeah, no, he was good. He fussed a little bit, but slept most of the way because I left pretty early.
All right, so before we get into talking about some nostalgic stuff, some wonderful stuff, some good old-fashioned stuff, let's say hello to some of the people that are already popped into the chat. We got Bear, Nerd Fun. What's going on, Bear? I hope you were doing well, my friend. I know you said you were chilling. Brutal Morningwood, best name on the YouTubes. No hurry on my account. I'm getting to relax here. What's going on? Nelson, the gentleman, is in the house. Let's go already. Well, sometimes these things take time. You don't want to rush them. What is going on, Lasso of Truth? I hope that you are doing well. What's going on, Super Sci-Fi? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Decepticons, Caves and Villains, doing all those little shorts about all these different places, like some of the toy stores that he's been heading to. Pretty interesting stuff. My Jaws first victim poster should be here later. Awesome. Frankie Nose is in the house. What's going on, Frankie? Honk, honk. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I see Immortal Quill, the Savage himself, is in the chat, clawing it up. What's going on, Immortal? Keck44 is in the house. What's going on, Keck? Godzillionaire is also here, stomping up and down the chat. I hope that you were doing well. And, Adam's not only on the panel, but he's also in the chat, too. Holy dog shit. What's going on here? Lasso is already saying hi to everybody, and I'm sure Lasso and some of the other people that mod for the chat will be dropping links for everybody shortly. And remember, guys, if you do have a wrench on this channel, which a lot of people do, be sure to go ahead and drop the links for your channel and self-promote yourself, because we here at the Guinea Pig Collective do not mind if you do that. All are welcome here at the Pig Collective. Just remember, if you get out of control, we will be nibbling off your toes. So, gentlemen, how's it going, man? How was everybody's weekend?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah. I had a bit of trouble with my PC, so yeah. But hopefully I'll get it sorted.
Hopefully. Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you start having problems with your, whether it's a laptop or your PC, or God forbid if your phone goes down too. That's when everything just goes to shit.
Dude, I tried doing the PS3, like how you can do the PS4 and stream directly from the PlayStation to YouTube, and apparently they took that function away from the PS3 now.
Yeah.
See, I've never had to worry about that. I've never been that big of a gamer as far as like wanting to stream it, so I've never had those issues. Most of the games that I would play too, they would be straight on the console. They wouldn't be the online ones. I mean, one of the few games I played online, I quit playing that years ago when that whole Blitzchung shit started with World of Warcraft. And I was playing that since like, oh God, what was that, like 2007? Or no, wait a minute. No, that's not right. 2017. Yeah, 2007. That would have been way too early. Or was it? Wait a minute. No, it was 2007. Jesus. Yeah, it was 2007, because it was right around the time the Burning Crusade came out. I started playing it then. And yeah, that whole nonsense with Blitzchung and all the other shit that they were doing to the people that wound up getting the pre-orders for the Warcraft 3 Reloaded, when they were just screwing over all the damn people that had pre-ordered it and they couldn't access it, and they were just telling them pretty much tough shit. Yeah, I quit. I was like, yeah, I'm done with you people. I said, they asked me, what was my reason for quitting? I said, you love China. And that's what, then I blocked them.
Nice.
I don't remember there being a guinea pig class in WoW. You just didn't notice. We were a special class. We were a hidden class. But, yeah, man, I hope everybody is doing well. Guys, remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say and what you should or should not watch. That is not a catchphrase. That is a way of life. The minute you let these people walk all over you, they will destroy everything you love. They will destroy everything that they touch. Don't let them do it, and that's why we talk about the old stuff. So one of the things I wanted to bring up here is I know there's been plenty of discussions about Gobots and Transformers, and which ones were actually built sturdier and which ones were built better. And I've actually gone on this one a few times saying it's not exactly true what some of the people say, and you know, the proof is in the pudding, so we're going to go ahead and show it. Once again, we are here with our good buddy Jumper, who loves change scratches. Loves them, loves them, loves them. So, what are some of the other things that I have in my collection? Well, we got this Optimus Prime. There's an Ultra Magnus. This damn sure ain't no Optimus Prime. This is actually Gobots Super Gobot, and this one, I believe his name is Stax. But a lot of people say that a lot of the Gobots were super cheap and they weren't nowhere as big as the Transformers. That is not completely true. So we'll go ahead and get these guys transformed and see how tall they are next to one another. And while not possessing nowhere near the engineering that was actually put into a lot of the Transformers, they did actually put quite a bit of engineering into these Super Gobots. And once again, you see it's just about as tall as Ultra Magnus. So while the base figures, which were about the size of Matchbox cars, which were extremely popular still at the beginning of the 1980s, that's where the base and the bulk of the Gobot series was. But yes, these Super Gobots that they started coming out with, they were right around the same price points as Transformers, and a lot of them had just as much die cast in them, if not more. Like, you check out this guy. These legs are solid die cast all the way through. Now granted, that doesn't seem like much, but if you look at the die cast that is actually on this Ultra Magnus figure, which is basically nothing but a remake of the old Optimus Prime, he's got some die cast down here, and that is just about it on him. I think the original Prime, he had a little bit more die cast in here. You know what? He had a little bit right here in the chest, and that's about it. That's really all the die cast Prime had. So technically, since these legs are solid die cast, I mean, these are solid die cast all the way down, and I believe there's a little more die cast somewhere back here. Maybe not. But since these legs are solid die cast all the way down, there's actually a lot more die cast in this than there is in this Ultra Magnus figure. Yeah, man. So that's one of the ones I hear a lot, that they're so cheap. Yeah, the regular Gobots were small, and they were tiny because they were piggybacking off the success that Matchbox had, and that was one of the reasons why they made those damn things so small. Because if you put those right next to the old Matchbox cars, for the most part, they were pretty much in scale with them. It was the same thing as like the what Takara did with the penny racers when they included that in the micro change line, which wound up becoming the Autobot mini cars. It was just smaller figures and smaller cars and everything were all the raids at the time. Nelson's Gentleman, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Hey, go easy on the Chinese Communist Party. They only killed 50 million people in the last century. I'm pretty sure it's probably more than that. Yeah, fuck sellouts and SJWs. I hear you. There's a lot of people that talk shit for no good reason. At least if you're going to talk shit about somebody, have a good reason.
Oh, yeah.
The Leader 1 versus Prime. Never had a Super Gobot.
Yeah, could you imagine that as like a spin-off, have Leader 1 versus, Optimus, and like the clay animation death fights and stuff. Celebrity death match.
Well, I know at some point they Hasbro wound up acquiring the rights to Gobots as far as Tonka was concerned, is the names, the cartoons, and everything like that. They acquired all that. So they wound up incorporating some of those names and characters into the Transformers as well. One of the first examples of that is during the, oh God, I'm trying to remember what that one was called. The Armada series, where they wound up releasing the first really big Unicron figure. One of the little mini bots, and I think he might have turned into a jet too. His name was Leader 1. Now, much later on, when IDW still had the comic rights to do Transformers before they screwed it up and Hasbro essentially kicked their asses to the curb, they actually did the Megatron origin story. And in it, he's in the damn gladiatorial arena, and he's fighting a bot that so closely resembles Psykill that you would have to be a fool not to recognize it.
Wow.
I mean, they also did stuff where you could see background characters were other Gobots, but yeah. Go ahead, Jens.
Yeah, because they're probably going to like rebrand it, won't they? Just paint it a different color, rebrand it, and so they're going to sell the same toy like twice.
Yeah, and that was the thing. A lot of those toys were very similarly priced, and one of the reasons that Gobots did so well initially is because they beat Transformers to the shelves by, I believe it was at least 6 months to close to a year. It was somewhere in between 6 months to a year. They had beat them fairly soundly to the shelves, but once Transformers hit, because they did have a little bit more engineering throughout the entire line, they had a little bit more engineering. They were a little bit more fun, so they were more interesting. The characters and, of course, the full story bios that they had on the back, all that stuff actually what led to that being so successful. And if you look at a lot of other franchises like G.I. Joe and some of the early Marvel releases where they were giving you basically a story of this character, Those are the lines that really did well. You're giving fans more than just a toy. You're giving them a backstory for the toy.
Yeah, and I think Transformers had better hands, where the GoBots didn't really have hands. They sort of like had like blocks that represented hands.
There were a few of them that did have some hands too.
Yeah, well, most of them, because the leader, the bike one,
Psycho.
yes, Sidekill. His sort of hands were like rings.
Well, they were. Yeah, so you could hold the wheel. They were supposed to represent the bike forks, where it actually held onto the wheel.
Yeah. Oh, it looked real good as the bike form, but then when you transformed him, his hands looked a bit thingy. Where with Optimus Prime, even though I lost the hands and that, as I keep going on about, but it was that option where then you stuck the hands on, so it looked more human.
Right.
And you could,
I just remember GoBots were fun because you could always put them in with your Star Wars figures to have more, shit for the Jedi to kill.
Yeah.
Because they were so small,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they had a helicopter one, and it was strange because the helicopter was the same size as the motorbike.
Yeah.
And it's like, bit
but
like
their headquarters. The headquarters was awesome, dude. The way that they built that in that time frame, the ages that we were in that time frame. Oh my goodness. Because you could put all the GoBots in that home carrier, which could stand up and look like an AT-AT. It was pretty badass.
Well, it also doubles as a bit of a storage container too for all the GoBots. So,
yeah.
I seen a few more people had popped into the chat. What's going on? Keely Chow, what is going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Tim Possible is also in the house. Can't wait until my red hot toy comes in. What's going on, Tim Possible? Bruce Lombardo is also in the house. What up, Bruce? I hope you're doing well. Nelson says, man, I wish I kept my GoBots and Transformers. I think I lost them in the sandbox over the years. Yeah, you know what? I had a lot of them that I lost due to theft and everything like that. And all the ones I had were in perfect freaking shape. And I still get irritated about that to this damn day. Steven Ransom, what's going on? Hello, gents, chats, and mods. Greetings. I hope you're doing well. Godzillionaire also adds, same thing you said there, Adam. The at-looking GoBots headquarters. Yep. The command center, I believe it was called.
It was awesome, dude.
I got mine from GoBots were for the slower kids who couldn't transform.
I got mine from Ace Hardware. That's where they were at locally. Like they sold them at the Ace Hardware.
Well, I remember there was a lot of different places that sold that stuff. I mean, I think my earliest recollection of ever picking up a GoBot was at Woolworths. That was the first time I ever picked one up.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love Woolworths. Woolworths was awesome, man. I mean, a lot of those Woolworths stores, too, they sold guns and everything there, too. And it was always nice looking at, like, this old surplus stock of guns that they had sitting there.
Right.
And then, go a few aisles down and I could look at the toys. Beautiful. And don't laugh too much. I had a GoBot too.
We all had GoBots. I mean, as far as I know, we had both,
I tell you, the one thing I didn't have though at the time, because by then I was already more invested in getting the Transformers, but early on my parents are picking up all the GoBots. We had actually picked up some of the ones that were actually came straight over from Japan, so they were still the Bandai stamped Machine Men. So I had a little bit of both of the original Machine Men, the rebranded GoBots under Tonka, and I had bucket loads of those things. But I had all the original packaging. I had the figures 100 complete. Like I had all the parts for Psycho, which, like, if you go online, you're hard pressed to be able to find him 100% complete. But in my
usually, yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, over my years of recollecting things and getting parts for Transformers, I have actually reacquired many of the GoBots that I had when I was a kid. And I pieced a few of them together, and then I wound up getting some of the Super GoBots, which I never had as a kid. And I was actually surprised at how some of them were so much more well engineered than the smaller ones, and how much more die-cast was in these large ones. So
Yeah. I'd never even heard of the Super GoBots. You said something. I'm like, wait, what? Because I never saw those at the Ace Hardware, but the original ones, because I had all of them.
Yeah, man. Lincoln, and where are you saying Lincoln, Illinois? When I was growing up, the one in Decatur closed before my time. Yeah, I used to go to Woolworths all the time. There was a few of them that we used to go to. They even had a Woolworths in the one mall that I used to stop in over in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Where actually it's considered Oxford because it's right outside of Levittown. But yeah, they had a big 2-story Woolworths sitting right there when you came into one side entrance, man. All kinds of shit in there. All those great stores. I got one more clip for the Super GoBots, and then we can just chat about the rest of that, and then we can move into other topics or freeball some of the topics. I mean, I have a couple other things, including a toy break. I did not come ill-prepared this time. I did come prepared, but I want to get this Super GoBots out of the way. Since you haven't seen many of them, I do want to show off one more that shows that the Super GoBots did have just as much die-cast in them, sometimes even more than the Transformers did. So just to make sure that I wasn't remembering it incorrectly, I brought out an older Prime figure. Oh, God, I'm a little messed up on this guy. But yeah, there's metal down here at the toe. There's metal down here on the top, rather, on the cab section. And that is about it. There is no other die cast in this Prime figure. I really thought there was just a little bit more. Like, for some reason, I thought there was more in the legs, but no, there isn't. So, once again, Transformers were built 10 times heavier because they had more die cast. Well, obviously that is not really true. And to just kind of further show off what they did with some of these Super GoBots, so you have this guy, Bug Bite. Basically, very similar to the Bumblebee figure. He's got die cast all over this hood right here on him is completely die cast. Completely. Let's see if I can remember how to change this guy. It's been a hot minute. There it is. There it is. Okay. It's got these little arms that flip out. Like I said, there was a bit of engineering in these things. Like, everybody says there was no engineering whatsoever in these GoBots. There was a little bit. This is basically the same type of stuff the Transformers did. They kind of tucked the arms down and in. So this comes around. The sheet fold out. That folds down like this, and then look, it's got die cast in here too for the top of the head. I'm trying to remember how that head snapped into place. There it goes. There we go. Got that snap. I think he's still got the little pilot guy in there too. How about that? Yeah, so this guy had die cast all here on the legs, die cast here on the hood, die cast here holding all the head parts in. This guy alone has actually more die cast in him than Optimus Prime does. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bruce Lombardo
Yeah,
says, I had a couple of the Super GoBots. I had the Porsche 918 and the VW. I have both of those as well. I have the other one that, whatever the silver car is, I'm forgetting what his name is, but offhand. But yeah, what's going on, Pacific 414? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Wouldn't it be cool to see a Gobot versus Transformer movie or something? And they could do that, like I said, because Hasbro actually owns the rights to the Gobot names and the actual, the Gobot franchising as far as the characters are concerned. They do not own the rights, however, to the toys themselves. That's why Bandai can actually still put out Gobots like figures, but they have to put them under the original names, which is Machine Men. What's going on, Brian Criscow? What is up? There's another comic book creator. Guys, if you haven't, stop by on Indiegogo and check out Six Gun Gorilla. I actually got that. I got 1 through 6, the whole collection of the first 6 books of his. Man, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff, man. And he ships it out right away, just like Vinny, just like Red Gaze, just like our buddy Chris Fisk. I mean, there's so many good creators out there that ship these books out right away, and you don't have to wait years for them. Yeah. Do you have the plastic gun visor for a bug bite? No, I don't. They were missing a few things. I mean, because I got these secondhand, Bruce, and most of them actually came in Transformer parts lots. Oh, look at Bear dropping challenge of the Gobots. That's one thing I have a hard time finding. I have to look that up later. The men's room is in the house. What up? I hope you're doing well. I prefer a bot with more metal than plastic. Bug bite looks cool. When did Super Gobots come out? I want to say that they came out right around like the end of '84, if I remember correctly. Because Gobots themselves actually hit toy store shelves in the end of '82, beginning of '83, somewhere around there. Maybe even no, maybe it wasn't '83 because it was almost a year before Transformers. So sometime in '83 they came out. So the Super Gobots would have came out in like '84, possibly even '85. Yeah, Gobots in '83. Yeah, that's about right. '83. They made the deal. Tonka made the deal with them at the end of '82, beginning of '83. And that was right around the same time that Hasbro had actually gone to that same Tokyo Toy Fair. And that's when they made the deal with Takara to bring in Microchange and bring in Diaclone, rebrand them as the Transformers and sell them in the States.
Goodness, 2022, you're talking about a totally different Transformer.
Yeah, right. Nah, we don't want to talk about those ones. Those are the
These
ones
are not
you don't
the Transformers
want to see
you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the Transformers you're looking for. You don't want them go in front of you going. That's just bad business. At the end of that day, you'll be sitting there going. And the next thing you know, Ron Perlman's going to show up, and then Mickey's going to show up. Oh boy, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get all these little kids together, and we're going to get them out on Epstein Island. Oh boy.
Yeah. It's sort of just this mother sort of pushing them towards the fucking drag queens.
Don't even get me started on that. Super Sci-Fi, didn't they have the Gobots cartoon? Yeah, that's exactly what Barrett posted right here. The challenge of the Gobots.
Yeah, it was like one season in '84.
Yeah, well, and then they tried to like compete with Transformers, and then they came up with that god awful Rock Lords, and then they did the movie. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like the movie was the worst thing ever. They had some really good. They had a few big name actors in there doing voices for that cartoon movie. They had one of them was Telly Savalas, but yeah, it went absolutely nowhere. The toy line went absolutely nowhere because I don't care how Disney would try to market it in Star Wars, but you know what? You are not going to sell a rock. It's not going to happen. Nobody cares. Like, I still can't believe to this day in the early 80s that My Pet Rock actually took off somehow. I still cannot believe that people were that dumb to buy a box with a rock. And freaking eyeballs and stuff on it, and maybe like a little flag post or something. Oh,
even the Brits find that hilarious, especially the ones I know. And that's one of the things. They go, y'all had pet rocks, and before that, it was the kryptonite rock. It was just one of the white rocks painted green. that predates the pet rock, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, spending money for some rocks. Yeah, we've learned a little. Thank goodness.
I remember the craziest thing I saw was when they released the Cabbage Patch Kid dolls, and there was grown adults like fighting each other just to get a Cabbage Patch doll.
Dude, the Garbage Pail Kids were better, but yeah, I know. Yeah, yep.
They even made little figures of them at one point too.
Yeah, I know.
Lady Toriel, real quick. Lady Toriel, it is good to see you. I hope that you are having an awesome journey. Thank you for stopping in. I know that you are on a completely different time zone than us, so I appreciate you even stopping in. Thank you for taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was I saying?
I was talking about the Garbage Pail toys.
There's a certain Etep Lakulian from the Place to Be Reviews that has a bunch of them who I've told, if you ever want to get rid of those, those bring back massive memories. I never got any of the figures or nothing, but man, we had them stickers and cards, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you guys. I hear you. What's going on, Sentinel? Transformers. I've waited an eternity to say this. It's over, Ron Perlman. I still have my Rock Lords, sentimental reasons.
Gives a whole new meaning to robots in the skies.
Nelson the Gentleman, we got to work together to keep that caveman Perlman away from the kids, or he calls them the young gash. Oh, that's disgusting. The Rock Lords kind of spawned the toy line, the Inhumanoids. Kind of. The Rock Lords, and believe it or not, this is kind of a funny one. Now, you wouldn't think so, but He-Man and the Masters of the Universe kind of coincided or just came out with their versions of the Rock Lords right before Tonka released theirs. I don't know if most people are aware of that. Because it was, I'm trying to remember their names too, because I actually do have a small clip of that. But Stone Dar and Boldar or something like that, they were two like rock type creatures in the Masters of the Universe line. Extremely flimsy toys. They were super cheap looking. They almost look like they could have been dollar store material if you're looking at them from today's standards. Slinky baby. Yeah, saying hi to the chat. What's going on? Do you guys ever dabble in Power Ranger toys? I got a ton. I don't personally. I've been waiting for somebody that wants to come up and talk about them, because Power Rangers, I'm going to be honest, they're not in my wheelhouse. I was never a fan of the series. It just wasn't my thing.
I even met the Black Ranger, and no, I'm not being racist, and got a picture of him signed for Seth from the original Power. That's how big of a Power Rangers fan this dude. That's my go-to guy for Power Rangers, is Seth there from the men's room, because my kids kind of watched a little bit, then watched other stuff, and I saw a little bit of it here and there, but that dude knows he's got the knowledge. So if you're seeking that kind of knowledge, Seth is your man.
Well, Adam, if Seth ever wants to stop up and talk about that and have a big Power Rangers discussion, man, you are my go-between. You can hammer out the details and.
Yeah,
go ahead, Jens.
Yeah, I would say I've seen some of the toys and that, but yeah, I wasn't really much into the Power Rangers because I was a bit too old for it at the time. But yeah, the toys looked all right though. They did some decent sort of stuff, for the show. It looked spot on. When I used to see it, took care of the craftsmanship. The one oh yeah, that's look. You used to get them cheap, rip-off ones that looked a bit dodgy.
I will say this: there was a certain Power Ranger line, and I only remember it because they were kind of like copying off the wave of Transformers. Do you remember the Power Rangers that actually transformed?
Yes.
Like the heads tucked into the chest, and I think the arms folded in or something.
Yes,
they did
Seth
something
has them.
weird.
Yep, he's got them. Yep. Mr. Appalachian American right now in the men's room. Yep, he's got them.
Yeah, I was just never into them. It was one of those things that, by the time they came out, it's probably the same thing with Jens. By the time they came out, I was already working. So I was very limited on the time and how much I was going to spend in trying to watch new franchises. So I was more concerned about the stuff that I was already into, and that's what I worried about at that point.
Well, we had a female or two in Power Rangers, so I never took it seriously. It was like,
here it comes.
Yeah. Well, what sort of team you going to get? Even though in the Power Rangers, they did sort of like make the women not super powerful. There was sort of like women, but I was thinking, oh no, they're going to have some, because there was a pink, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be watching that with a pink Power Ranger. Even though they did good, because all the Power Rangers was like professionally sort of trained and fucking martial artists and that in their own right. So the fucking moves they were doing was good. But then I saw the fighting and it was a bit sort of corny, but it was for kids. So they're not going to have it was a bit like the A-Team, where one of my mates, he went, oh yeah, the A-Team's corny. I was like, yeah, well, it's family, innit? They're not going to just start shooting the shit out of people, But,
exactly.
Yeah, but I say the toy seemed good in that, but yeah, I was never into Power Rangers. Even though
we had the Voltron too, man. That's what they always kind of reminded me of. My age of being older, that was our kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Younger, so Power Rangers, big time.
Yeah. It was like ninjas. That was like Age of Ultron sort of ninjas. I was like, all right.
To a lesser, I was going to say to a lesser degree. Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of the early Ultraman.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Battle of the Planets, but they had a little kid in that one. But sort of like same thing where they'd sort of like do a little triangle, human triangle, and then kick ass.
Lasso Truth says that Jens, Wonder Woman will lay any man flat.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman is a fucking Amazon goddess, but she can't beat Superman.
What?
And she can't even. Batman would fuck her up and all, because Batman fucks up Superman. So if he can fuck up Superman, he can fuck up Wonder Woman.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Tell that to Batman then.
Real quick, say hi to our good buddy. Hey, hold on a second. Now Slasher's out there, man.
Slasher.
Yeah.
What's going on, Slasher, man? I hope you were doing well, buddy. I'd be happy when Slasher gets a chance to come back up here. I'll be happy when I get a chance to stop by for his Wednesday movie streams, man. But right now, with everything that I got going on with the damn physical therapy on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I'm dead by the time I get back from those things. Nelson the Gentleman says, Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective super fan, have him show hand in. Yes, Petter. Did you guys ever meet the Black Fentanyl Ranger, George? His special power was having a heart attack. It's me, baby. It's me. It's George Fentanyl. St. Floyd Fentanyl, baby.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it.
Where's ETEP at when you need him? Too busy freaking moving a house.
He's at home washing his tights.
Yeah, don't take the piss out of George. He fucking assaulted a fucking woman who was pregnant, and so don't be taking the piss out of George just because he teaches some bitch some manners as he's carrying child.
Woo! Them's fighting words.
Yeah, when someone knocks on your door and you're pregnant, you let them in, or you're gonna get fucking it's not whiplashed. We use the butt of the gun.
When they hit you in the head, like a concussion.
Yeah. There's a special name for it.
What's going on, Tim? What's up, Tim? So Bruce says, would Princess Diana have like some Omaha Beach like zone where the weak ones are washed aside? I was too old for Power Rangers. I was watching Walker, Texas Ranger instead.
Yeah.
That's right. Fear the Lasso. I'll tell you what, if Lasso shows up on your doorstep, Jens, you're going to have to film this.
Well, it'd be some kinky shit, wouldn't it? So I don't know if I'll be able to put it on.
You guys killing it in the chat.
For.
Yeah.
Pistol whipped.
Yeah,
there you go.
You know that lasso and truth get used more than just to tell them the truth.
I don't know, Jens. I think you're digging yourself a hole right now. And as Padme said, you're going down a path that I can't follow.
Well, I don't care.
You're on your own this time.
Yeah, I've had enough sex. I've had enough sex and fucking seen a good enough 80s action films. I'm all right. I've had a good life.
No, now you got to come to America and go to the DJD shows arcade that he's setting up in his new home state that he's in of Kansas.
Oh, I wish I could.
Look for Superman.
Oh, I wish I could, but I don't think the states would allow me in.
Oh, we probably keep you. I'm sure we got plenty of illegals we can send in your place.
Yeah, well, as I say, like I could get into America if I go the southern border route, but yeah, because
all I got to do is president. Don't worry, we'll just pardon you ahead of time.
Yeah, well, I can get in America. You're allowed in America if you have like a reason to be there.
Yeah,
you know, like and so if I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to like chill out with a few friends and that. Like, all right, yeah.
We're YouTubers. We're doing a show together at a con. You need to come to America so you can be with me and Tommy live in person at said con. You know, there you go.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, and yeah. Then they'll be like, okay then, but we're still gonna fucking keep an eye on you.
But Shellback apparently was not a fan of the Power Rangers. And what's going on, Shelly? Good to see you, buddy.
Well, all his time was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's okay though.
Yeah, well, he hasn't gotten off of that either. He's still a turtle.
That's right.
Nelson the Gentleman, Uncle Sleepy Joe told me. Uncle Sleepy Joe told me that pregnant women, the Black Ranger George, held a gun to the belly of it, had it coming. She was a dog-faced pony soldier, baby.
Yeah.
You ever going to ride Iron Gwaza at Busch Gardens? I don't even know what the hell that is. Not that I would go to Busch Gardens anyway.
I don't know.
See, Busch Gardens means something totally different.
Yeah,
like when we had to fight through the jungle.
Depends how good the bush is.
Aye.
What's going on, Tina? I hope you were doing well. Nelson asks, Jens. Jens Petter, you can crash on my couch for a few days if you come to a meetup in the Midwest. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'll fucking have to. I'll have to go now just so me and Nelson can like chill out a bit. We can be like fucking rocking and rolling, drinking some fucking bourbon, whatever.
You're gonna drink some American beer.
No, that's
And then he's
fucking.
gonna run and grab a Guinness. Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No,
gotta drink some of the shitty American beer so you can really appreciate Guinness.
no, I drink the bourbon. I'd go proper fucking old style fucking. Give me
I'll
a
tell you
shot.
what. If
Leave the
you hang out with me, Jens, I promise you I will get you the best. Nothing but Coors Light the entire time we're hanging out.
That just makes me piss.
Well, you know, a guinea pig just is happy when the mountain's blue and he knows it's cold.
Bruce says that the Iron Gwaza is the best roller coaster in Florida at the time. See, I can't even go on roller coasters anymore. Not with my back. Hey, my sketchbook 340, what's going on? How are y'all beautiful people today? I'm doing just piggly.
Wiener-tastic here.
It's always a beautiful day here in Pigland.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit a toy break. And then I want to get into some really old school toys. Now, I think some of these, I think maybe, Adam, you might know a few of them. I think I might be able to even throw you for a loop on a few of these ones that are going to be coming up after the toy break. So we will see. We'll see. I want to see how many people I could stump with these ones. But here we go for our toy break of the night. And one last one that I actually still have in my collection is from Ideal in 1977. This was considered part of the Star team. Now, I did have a few other ones. Unfortunately, they got mangled over my father's house, but I do still have the Starbot. This was actually, this kind of came off the heels of Ideal's Zeroids line. So this same design was used in that as well. Now it has an actual on-off switch for the light. Now unfortunately this light doesn't work in this guy anymore. I think I might be able to replace it, but yeah, there you go. $1977. And if you see, it's got the earlier Zeroids 1968 stamp on it as well, because once again, this was just reused from the Zeroids line. Kind of taking advantage of some of the stuff that Star Wars was putting out by putting out a droid like this. Then they had a tall bipedal droid, and they had another guy that was called the Dark Knight. It almost looked like a Darth Vader ripoff. That was one of the ones I actually had in my collection. I did bring him back, but unfortunately it's in pieces because my dad buried him under an avalanche of other boxes that crushed the chest of the figure and crushed the head of it. So it is what it is. You guys remember this one? I still like these things. I'm gonna have to take this bulb out of here and see if I can get this thing to work again. I always like these damn things. Yeah, ain't that the truth? A lot of toys do break it. And yeah, last, in case you missed it, the second date that was on there is actually from 1968. And it was part of the Zeroid line. And the funny thing is when they actually labeled these as a Star team, they would actually still use the Zeroid name for that mini-bot too. So even though they had other posters where they had a space bot on them, other ones they just still called them Zeroid. It only came in two colors. It came with that blue, and then it came with a red plastic inner base. But yeah, the one that looks like Darth Vader, or Darth Vader-esque, I should say, that one was really weird, except he had like a bowl helmet. It was really weird looking. I'm just so pissed off that my dad crushed that thing. Like, he took it out of whatever box it was originally in and left that on top of another box, then piled more boxes on top of it. crushed the chest, flattened the freaking head. I was like, oh, I'm so pissed. I don't even know if I could fix that damn thing. And it does kind of have like the shape of a Dalek in a way too. Not exactly, but similar. That was R2D2's meth head cousin. it's R2 meth head Floyd, baby. Okay, Stephen Ransom, thank you for stopping in, man. I hope you have a good one. Be well. So, do you guys remember seeing that one at all?
No, not at all. It reminded me very much of like Doctor Who, though.
See,
even the old school robots, like back in the day, you know. But yeah, no, I never saw that.
The one off Lost in Space. I forget what that robot was called.
Yeah, danger, robot.
Yeah,
danger.
Yeah. Because
Robbie the robot.
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. But yeah, they used to like have like robots like that, but it wasn't as detailed as that. Because yeah, the body lit up and that, didn't it? So yeah, like you used to be like just a few little LCD lights would light up. That'd be about it.
No, I mean, like back then, like especially a lot of the toys when I was growing up, they were all like the little mini bulbs and stuff like that. You know, so I mean, even the original dash panels on cars, they didn't have LEDs back then. They still had the little mini bulbs back there.
Yeah.
Well, like now, I can't remember ever seeing a sort of toy with bulb in it because it was smashed. Because was the stomach part, was that glass or was it plastic?
No, it's all plastic. But it's actually a pretty tough plastic. I mean, that was another thing they used to do back then. The plastics were so much more durable back then.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, see, like the only bulbs really you'd get is like LCD lights.
Yeah, the LEDs. Yeah.
Yeah, but there might have been sort of like the Christmas LED bulb lights, you know, where they're not LED, but they're real small, like Christmas tree lights. Well, apart from that though, I've never seen a robot with its like stomach all lit up and that.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they were interesting. Chaos Hoy, what's going on? Chaos Hoy says, I remember that, Tommy. Awesome. I remember like this was years ago. Somebody had asked me to do a talking toys on the Zeroids, and I brought that up, and I brought up the Zeroids, and I actually brought up the Star Team, and it was an interesting little thing digging back through the history of it, because some of it I remembered, some of it I was like, wow, I completely forgot all about that. But it was a very short line. It didn't last very long, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. No, this was something else. This was something else entirely by Ideal. I don't think it. Yeah, it. Like once again, you know, a lot of these companies, they took ideas from everybody else. But one of the things I will say about this Star Team where they reused that Zeroid bot from '68 is, like I said, they did a Dark Knight guy who looked very reminiscent of Vader. He even had a big black cape. And they did some kind of like android robotic guy who kind of reminded me of C-3PO. I think this was their way of trying to get toys on the market that weren't Star Wars, but reminded people of Star Wars in hopes that they would just buy it. I mean, there was plenty of companies that did the same damn thing with the Transformers, GoBots. And if you go down the list, Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, there was plenty of freaking toy companies out there were making stuff similar. Like I remember there was these little army figure guys that looked just like G.I. Joes, but they obviously weren't because they were cheaper in design. And basically it was like two different design heads on the exact same body, just painted differently. And they made like, I don't know, about 5 or 10 different troops that way for this one company, are making these knockoff G.I. Joe toys.
Oh yeah.
And they actually would put on the packaging, like, oh, you can you could use these to play with your GI Joes or this, that, or the other thing. Like they were promoting them that way.
Yep. GI Joe, like, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember those. You'd see them at Walgreens, like at the pharmacies and stuff. They wouldn't have GI Joe, but they'd have the knockoff wannabe ones.
Yep. Chaos Boy, Pepperidge Farm remembers. I'm sure the ladies back then appreciated tougher plastics when they were single and dealing with a battery operated boyfriend. That's a good one, Nelson. That is a good one.
Did the plastic stopped getting hard once the erections started lasting longer?
Nelson, this one is for you.
He says that he's an a-hole, but he's not, and I'm quoting him here, 100% a dick.
And what's going on? Slasher.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, before the Transformers and Gobots, I loved the Zoids. They just had 6 wind-up toys that were badass. I barely remember Zoids. I do recall them, but I don't recall them in detail. Yeah, the Action Force figures. I think those were some of the G.I. Joe knockoffs that they had, too, that they were calling them Action Force, even though they did call G.I. Joes over in Europe Action Force.
I think I have a couple of those. Those
The
really
knockoff.
shitty, yeah, the really shitty G.I. Joe knockoffs.
Yeah. The one they used to come with, like because it was right around the time that they had released a couple other things after G.I. Joe, like I think it was maybe First Blood or something like that. So a lot of this fake G.I. Joes, they had like the bandolier straps across the chest, like it was supposed to copy Rambo. And I remember one of them in particular had like the hairstyle like Stallone and Rambo with a bandana around its head.
They also had A-Team figures, the size of G.I. Joes. They were the size of G.I. Joes. They had the little, like they had the kind of He-Man sized A-Team figures, but then they had the smaller ones.
I forget, did they release a van for the minifigures too?
Yeah. I don't know about for the minifigures, but I know they did for the
for the like 5-inch figures.
Yeah. I had I had BA and I had Murdoch.
Nice.
Those figures
came with they came with a bunch of tools and shit, a bunch of weapons and tools. It was cool.
Because if I remember right, they were very Mego-ish.
Kind of like I don't know if you remember they were kind of like squatty, right? Weren't they like kind of like those AWA Remco figures?
Yeah. They didn't have tons of articulation from what I remember.
No. That's why I was kind of thinking, I was trying to think of something, and that's why Migos popped in mind. But yeah, Migos did have more actual...
Yeah. Migos had actually a fair amount of articulation. They had shoulders, they had elbow, they had the wrist, and they actually had like a turn at the wrist, like a pivot, if you will. And they had the same thing on the ankle. They had a ball joint and a pivot, and then they had the knees and the thighs, and then they had a waist turn and everything. So, I mean, yeah, Migos actually did have a fair amount of articulation. I just picked up a figure recently that it's they're Mego, basically. They're rebranded Mego coming back out, and they had the Young Frankenstein figures.
Yeah,
so I picked up the monster and Dr. Frankenstein, the old Mego style done ones. They were awesome. I was just really disappointed that they didn't give the monster a closed hand so he could hold the cane, and they didn't do something different with the hat so it could sit on Frankenstein's head correctly.
Because they had Gene Wilder and Young Frankenstein too.
But yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that was man. It was eerie how much it looked like him, and that's like the Migos. Some of the faces are spot on. I remember the A-Team figures. If I'm remembering right, those heads were really, spot on. Mr. T looked like, it looked like Mr. T, unlike the Mr. T cereal that was disgusting. Shit was nasty.
Well, it was.
I pity the fool that eats a cereal.
It was just fake Captain Crunch. That's all it really was.
It was stale Captain Crunch that didn't get cut right through the machine. That shit was nasty.
It was the same with the Batman cereal later on.
Yeah. Because we had King Vitamin, which was generic.
Oh shit! I remember that. That was
the one the King Vitamin stuff. It had
the
different than Captain Crunch.
It had the mask that you cut out. It had the cardboard mask that you cut out on the box.
Hell yeah! And we had Kaboom cereal. It was clown faces with marshmallows.
Well, I mean, at that point, I think they did a cereal for damn near everything that came out at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
Like every movie. Like a ton of different TV shows. Like, usually they were limited, so they only lasted, so many months, and then they were going off the store shelves. But
here, Tommy, I brought up the 18 figures.
The Mando cereal was to die for. That shit was good. It was like kick style little lemony balls, and then the marshmallow lemony balls. But yeah. It had a lemon hint to it, though. And then you get the sugary marshmallow. Stuff was good. But yeah, see it.
Oh, their faces were pretty scary now that I'm looking at it.
If you didn't want him to be this, it could be Bubba Lang.
I didn't know they made an Amy figure, though. I never knew that.
No, I would say. I had them all apart from the Amy Adams.
Yen's like, if I knew about that figure, I would have never watched this show. Hey, soy!
No, it was all right because the A-Team was one of them programs that told us to fuck off on season 2 because she wanted more action. It was like, no, you're just a reporter, babe.
Look, she has a camera. Her weapon is a camera.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Look at her.
Oh yeah.
Her face is fucking scary. Holy shit.
I love how they run around with M16s, right? Like all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Even face has a fucking M16.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fucking soldiers are fortune.
You don't trust
they're on the run, aren't they? The soldiers are fortune, they don't care. It's not like they're gonna get busted.
Because I love it when a plan comes together.
Why does the middle guy look like George Bush?
It did look like George Bush.
Papa Cotton says King Vitamin was good. Chaos Boy Joker was on a cereal box. Yeah. Bruce Lombardo, the Pac-Man cereal sucked. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Why do all these figures look like they're wearing Depends diapers?
Well, Hannibal was old.
Yeah, that's true.
Nelson. I do remember a lot of those freaking crazy serials. Like even when they came out with the prequels for Star Wars. I don't think they did it for the first movie, but the second movie they actually had cereal for Attack of the Attack of the Clones.
Pepsi did the cans for Phantom Menace.
Yes,
like you get the Pepsi can, but I don't remember a cereal.
And the only reason I really remember the cereal is when I was going through all the shit at my dad's house, he actually kept 2 of the boxes. So one box had almost like a hollow foil type picture or something on the front of the cereal box.
Yeah.
So one had Anakin, and then the other one had it had Dooku on it.
Very nice. They said that's the last Black Series lightsaber I bought was Dooku. I always wanted one.
Oh yeah, Bruce Lombardo. Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons figures. I remember them. There was that one crazy looking like knight guy. I think it was the bad guy. He had like a blue mail or what was that?
Duke.
Yes. Because he had that blue armor on and he had that blue winged helmet.
Yeah, and he had a horse.
But then he had some kind of other weird like yellow colors.
He had a horse.
Of his outfit.
Nightmare. Yeah. His horse.
The horse and all had like a little hatch that you'd stick to do like legs in.
And his legs were molded to the side of the saddle instead of put him on the saddle. You put him in the horse through the saddle.
Yeah, and so it looks all right when he was riding the horse, but when you took him off the horse, he had a pair of legs from the horse. Yeah.
I
think
I
Cowboys
do.
and Indians. Yeah,
Those are LJNs. Those are LJN figures.
I was going to say, does anybody else remember? I seem to recall this. The honeycomb rip-off C-3POs.
Yeah,
that was right around the time of the Droids cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those.
Honeycombs are awesome, by the way.
You know what I used to like back in the day? I used to like the Sugar Smacks.
Mm-hmm. I like the Sugar Smacks better than the Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bear ones just taste funky. I used to eat Popeyes. They had puffed wheat and rice, and so they could, being diabetic, so they didn't have none of the sugar. But you could have a cup of each, and it equal the bread. So like that used to be the big deal because you could get to eat more of it because it didn't have no sugar in it. Yep.
D&D figures were made by Ertl or LGN. So it was like Byron James of action figures. You'd see them die fast with any amount of rigorous play. Yeah, I do recall a few of them, like the joints loosened up incredibly fast.
They also had the PVCs too. They had the regular figures, and then they had just like the PVCs, the non-movable ones.
Right. I do recall those too. Matter of fact, I think I brought one or two of them back as well.
Oh, the best one was the Fire Elemental. That shit was fucking awesome.
There was a lot of interesting. Right around the same time, do you recall that they were making like a soldiers from history? So they had like a Greek soldier, a Roman soldier. They had these other ones that like I forget what the series was called, but I remember they were taller than the D&D figures. So these figures had to be at least like six or so inches tall. At least
it was around the time of the D&D figures.
Right around the same time they came out with them.
No,
I don't know if it was the same company or not, but it looks like it could have been.
No, I don't remember.
I remember I brought one of them back, and it looks like it's supposed to be like a Greek warrior or something.
I remember the Deadliest Warrior show where they would do the computer stuff.
Oh yeah,
I remember that on the PS3. I've got that on my PS3.
Yeah, I had that. I had both games on the 360.
Yeah.
The second one was kind of weird though because they had like a Risk game that you played on it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a very good show too. They also did it. What was that? The was it War of the Gods or something? It was all about like they had stuff on Zeus, they had stuff on Thor, they did stuff on Odysseus.
Right, yeah, Greek gods and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what that Myths and Monsters, maybe? Myths and Monsters or something with the gods. No, it was something of the gods.
Among the Gods, maybe, or something.
The Battle of the Gods.
Yeah.
I'd go for.
Sounds good to my high ass.
Yeah.
Wilford Brimley's diabetes cereal. It was insulin flavored. Sugar, glass, edible syringes, and bran flakes. Part of a complete breakfast.
No, that was just
where
just great.
Where's Nelson going with this stuff today? Became the piss station. See, I never bought a PlayStation because the one thing I never did like about the PlayStation is I always hated their controllers. And early on, that was I hated those controllers.
Oh man, I love the PlayStation controller.
Well, you know what? I grew up playing the Genesis. So
I did too.
When Xbox came out, that controller reminded me more of the original Genesis controller. So it was just easier to assimilate to that controller than it was to. What I
didn't like was the 64 controller. I kind of didn't like.
That thing was horrendous. It was so big. And bulky.
It was real good for GoldenEye.
Yeah, it was.
But the PlayStation pad though is good. I like it. I prefer it to the Xbox, but they have a mini Xbox pad, which isn't so bad. But yeah, I'm all right on any pads because I remember fucking computers where You had to use keys.
Oh, yeah,
It's like, oh, fucking
Pong,
hell.
I'm thinking Pong and Atari, bro. I'm like, dude, after getting a real controller, yeah, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the shitty controller until you've seen the Atari Jaguar controller.
Well, usually it was because I smashed up my joystick, and then to play the game, I'd have to use keys. That was it. Until like 2 or 3 days later, or whatever, I got a new pad.
Damn it, you made me forget. I'm gonna get in trouble now.
Yeah, so I remember like the early days when the computers were part game system. So we had the old Texas Instruments computer, and it had the slots in there for the game cartridges, just like you would see ColecoVision and some of the other ones. And they had this damn controller that you could buy separately for it to play the games, and it had one single button, and it had that big stick control, and that was it.
Like an Atari 2600 joint, right?
Basically, yeah. Basically. Well, not much of a difference. What's going on? Glenzer, good to see you. Glenzer says Dreamcast controller was the worst, in my opinion. And what's going on?
That bastard. What about the thingy, though? The Atari Jaguar pad. It had something like 20 buttons on it.
Yeah. It was really, really stupid.
Made you wish for the 64 controller.
Yeah, that's when they started like thinking, oh yeah, we better put some trigger buttons in.
No, it was like a fucking calculator. The top half of the controller was like a calculator, and then the bottom part of the controller was the D-pad and the buttons.
Yeah, we didn't have no trigger buttons.
I want to ask you guys this one. I want to ask guys in the chat too. Like for those of us who grew up in the early 80s when these games were first just starting to come out and we were getting like the Genesis, of course, the original NES, the Super Nintendo. When we were getting things like that, they had limited buttons on these damn controllers, maybe a couple bumpers. Was it just me? But when they started adding all the other stuff like the analog sticks, the secondary triggers, secondary bumpers, did you feel like you needed directions to be able to figure out how to use the controller the first time you picked one up?
With that 64 controller, yes, that 64 controller, because I remember in the middle of the 64 controller, there were just two. There was that little analog stick, and then there were just two random yellow buttons, but they weren't like a start and select button, if I remember.
No, there was 4 of them.
In the middle of the controller, right?
Oh,
yeah, that's the ones to the right, Jens. The yeah, I know what you're talking about. It'd be like your for Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just had like a single start button in the middle, I think.
Okay, see, it's been a while since I touched the 64 controller.
But then you had like that trigger button underneath the
yeah.
You had that one trigger in the dead center on the 64.
Yeah, which was real good for GoldenEye because it was like you had a gun in your hand, even though it was a pad. But when you had the rumble pack on, it was real good because then you'd get like the kickback, even though you're not going to get proper kickback from a fucking combo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Set phasers to kill.
But yeah, to go from an Atari 2600 controller, all the way down the line, I guess it got a little bit more complicated.
Yeah. If you go from the original Nintendo, even the Super Nintendo, the controllers were rounded.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a little bit. It was different from the way that the original controller went. So yeah, it was. It wasn't much of a change, but it was enough.
But Super Nintendo was also the first one to have shoulder buttons, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, because it had 6 buttons, which was real good for Street Fighter. Because I bought a Super Nintendo just for Street Fighter because it was like, well, you got 6 buttons because the Genesis.
You had to. I think
we call it the Mega Drive, but
you sacrificed the start button. I think.
Yeah, you had to press the start button to change from punch to kick, and that it was like, oh fucking hell. The game was jerky as fuck without having that problem.
But then Genesis put out the later controllers with 6 buttons.
Yeah, the copying. But yeah.
Well, also
like,
because they had put out the much better version of Mortal Kombat than Super Nintendo did.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much the same. Because another thing.
Oh, there were no fatalities in the first Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking about the later ones. Yeah, but the gameplay was better because you had like your 5 buttons, even though you just use both your shoulder buttons for blocking.
Yeah,
that's what I
used
used to
didn't
do.
have a run back then. It was just block. Yeah.
I remember the first time that I broke one of the controllers on my, what was it? Oh God, it was the original Xbox. And I wasn't going to pay the amount of money that they wanted to get actually one from Xbox to get a replacement controller. So I went and got one of those secondary market ones. And I was like,
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Because they had 10 times more buttons on the aftermarket one than they did on the original one. I'm like trying to look at it. I was like, what are all these extra buttons for?
Yeah. Got like, but the real good ones, you find out what they are, because some of them will be like auto and to do like 2 buttons at the same time, where you just have to press one of them.
They had a few buttons on there that were oh God, they were for stuff like a Street Fighter and stuff like that, you know, where you have to repeatedly tap the button.
Yeah.
Like say E Honda or Chun-Li with the kicks and everything like that. So they had special buttons on these aftermarket controllers that were specifically for that. I think they were called hyper buttons or something to that nature.
Also fire. Yeah, they're real good for like shooting up games, you know, or space games. So you don't have to fucking, well, if you've got infinite ammo, like you don't have to like keep pressing it. You just keep your finger on it. Like,
Frankie knows, he says in Italy they pronounce Sega, because Sega was slang for fapping off.
Yeah,
I like
called Sega though.
I had a Sega CD. It was nice. I still have the Mortal Kombat disc, the first one, and the program is in the disc. It is so badass. So if I put it in my computer, it won't play the first track, but it read it as the Mortal Kombat movie music, because the original game also has some of the music they used in that movie with Christopher Lambert in it. So it's just funny how that worked. But I have the all the information on a CD. You know, just have to have the right emulator to play it.
Yeah.
Or the old school set. I don't have a Sega or anything anymore. The Nintendo I have was one of the ones off of Facebook where it's like the Super Nintendo 600 games, and it was like $25 and 2 little controllers and a little thumb drive, and that's where everything's on. But it's nice.
You know what though? Those are not bad though, Adam. I mean, my daughter wanted my daughter wanted to see what the older games look like, so they picked up the Atari version that came stacked with something like 50 or 60 games. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah,
she loved the hell of it, and it had like a reproduction of the old style controller and everything. Like she had a blast with it.
I have the Genesis Mini, and it's cool because there's games built in. But there's also a cartridge slot.
Right.
That's fucking awesome.
Yup. My daughter went out and got that same one too, Slasher. So she could rifle through a few of the Genesis cartridges I still have.
She's a Sonic.
I don't have any anymore.
Yes, she is a Sonic fan. Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. Sony was Crash Bandicoot, baby.
But yeah, this one's it's weird. All right, because you could put a game in and play the game, but so I bought King of the Monsters for like $5-6, and the game starts, but the game goes on, the power goes on, but you can't press start on this. There's some sort of weird bug with this system where that one game won't play.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that one before, Lasso, that you can hack it to get more games. Okay, so I have the Genesis Mini.
Oh, you can hack those like a Pi, like a Raspberry Pi?
Apparently.
Well, that was the thing about the old Xboxes and whatnot, because it was a Microsoft computer. So I've still got an Xbox One, but mine wasn't ever hacked. they had that where you could put all kinds of games on there, and they, when they first started doing the CD-ROMs and stuff where you could burn the stuff. I remember people having Sega games, for the, I think, Dreamcast even. So yeah, it's nuts, the stuff that you can get these days. Back in the day, you had to buy the system and the games. Now you can get it, like you were talking about that Sega, Mini. And that's kind of what this was a version of, but it was, instead of being the actual system, it's just on like a thumb drive with a controller. And it was so much fun. There's so many games on there that I haven't even got through all of them. The only thing I wish is I could stream it from my TV, but I can't.
Oh yeah, someone lent me a Raspberry Pi a little while ago, but it kind of fucked up, and it wasn't able to. I don't know what was wrong with it. He never fixed it, so I never asked for it back.
That lasso truth, going in there pirating the mini Nintendo Classic could be hacked to get tons more games. We did it. And what's going on, Time Prophet? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well.
Hey, how you doing?
I was hoping the one I got would have like the first X-Men game in there, or like the Simpsons, but like, it didn't have any of those. It has other games in it.
The
Spy Hunter, Spy Hunter 2,
Konami arcades, the X-Men and Simpsons, Ninja Turtles. They're all three of those are the same game basically, but they're all good games now.
Hell yeah, just with a facelift.
Yeah.
Now, out of all the games that I played on a couple of those different systems, there was only one game that drove me absolutely bananas because I couldn't get past one level, and that was Chaikin.
Oh yeah, I have that on the. It's on the Genesis Mini, and yeah, I don't know what the fuck to do in that game.
Yeah, this is one part. It's a big giant room with like the moving, sliding like platforms or something like that. And somehow, I don't know how you're supposed to get to the other end. I could never figure that one out. Could never get past that one. I broke about 4 or 5 Genesis controllers on that game.
See, I never played that before until my friend got me this Mini. And I was scrolling through the games. And I was like, hey, what's this? Never saw it before. And yeah, I have no idea what to do in it.
Yeah, I've gotten better over the years, though. I haven't broken anything from the 360 Slim that I picked up to the Xbox One, which is the last system I ever bought, and probably will be the last system I ever buy because I've just had enough of these damn companies and their garbage that they're putting out. But yeah, I haven't broken any more controllers yet, surprisingly.
I bought a PS4 controller, and then Frank claimed it. And I was playing a game earlier. I was having issues because I've got my PS4 controllers, but they're all old original ones because I've got the Batman PS4. And I could not get this new controller I bought. It's just a wannabe PlayStation controller. But it's like, oh, just plug it in and hit the button. It wouldn't work. So it was disconnected and just sitting there. Frank got a hold of his controller, which was plugged in live on air while I was streaming. All of a sudden, it goes to like the main screen and stuff. Frank's over there messing with his controller, disconnects his controller, and the purple one that was a mile away from him just turns on automatically and starts working. And this is live on my channel. This just happened today. Which, happy birthday, Brent. It's Utini Brent's birthday today, so happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, man, it was just funny. I couldn't. I've tried for 3 days to get this damn controller to work, and it wouldn't work. Like, I had it charging in case it had to charge. Now that wasn't it. No, it just took the dog to do it, apparently.
Yeah, Time Prophet, destroy all humans.
Yeah.
I do recall seeing it. I never had a chance to play it. Frankie knows. I got the Star Wars PS4. I like the way it looks. I'll never buy from Piss Station again. And Nelson, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about with some of those older games like that. Like this is back in the day. My brother had asked me to sell some of his old Sega Saturn games. Some of those damn games, I was getting anywhere from $100 to over $200 per game for him. Like some of the prices were ridiculous, and this was years ago though. This was probably like 6-7 years ago.
Saturn and Dreamcast games. I think there's a lot of Dreamcast games that are pretty pricey too.
Well, that system wasn't around for very long. What did it last? A year and a half, 2 years tops?
Probably a year.
It was ahead of its time, though.
Oh, it was. The graphics looked amazing on it.
The sports games. It was like the first one to like really make the modern type of sports games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember used to going into the GameStops when they used to have it on display, so you could sit there and play them. I was checking out the Dreamcast, and I was like blown away by the graphics, but I was even more blown away by the price.
See, I didn't pay retail for my Xbox One. A friend had two, so because him and his wife were playing one of the games at the same time and co-oping. But then when he decided to sell it, I bought it from him, and I barely ever played the Xbox One. I bought like some games for my wife to play, but yeah, I've never really Xbox much. 360 back in the day was the first time I ever played online. So, and then the PS3, the PS4. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I've never really had a preference on any of the controllers. Like I said, I've always been fine with anything after the Atari version, you know. I really can't bitch. I mean, I remember the Pong controllers. Those were crazy.
Well, I didn't mind the Pong controllers. It was just the joysticks was like too stiff that like
you could break it very easily. I broke many Atari controllers.
Right.
Just playing the game. It just like snaps like a chicken's neck.
Yeah. I think they like
go ahead.
Yeah, they started to loosen it up a bit because I remember that you could get ones that was a bit looser in that, but then it went into like joysticks with more buttons. So.
Well, yeah, but usually those types charge you, Jens.
Yeah.
Oh, that joke just flew right over everybody's head. You said you wanted to get one that was looser, and I said they usually charge you, and it just went right over everybody's heads.
they charge you extra for that.
Shut up, man.
Oh, I'm worried about you, Jens. I'm worried that joke flew over your head. I'm afraid that maybe talking about all this soy is starting to get to you.
Well, I'm cutting it down a bit. I only did a 7-minute video earlier today where I was just ranting about the soy nerds watching Obi-Wan Kenobi and complaining, and then laughing about the Reaver getting her own fucking spin-off series. So, yeah. Then I had to stop because I was growing breasts. Like, fuck no.
Oh, the joysticks were not for the Northern Jessies. Ooh, sounds like fighting words. Is that fighting words, Jens?
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying that I couldn't fucking push a fucking Atari 2000 or whatever joystick. Well, but no one could. That's why they loosened them up, because they realised, oh yeah, fucking you'd have people fucking not wanting to play the game because the joystick was too hard to fucking push it, especially when you was holding it in your hand. You'd have to put it on the table at least to get. If you was holding it on your hand, your wrist would go.
For me, using it was fine. Using it without breaking it was the trick.
Well, I found it was one of them where it was really slow responsive because you couldn't. It was like having to change gear in a car near on. So
crazy
with the clutch.
So yeah, here, I want to take us in another direction real quick for a little bit. So I got one more click, and I want to see one more clip, and I want to see. I got one more clip. One more clip that I got to rub. But now I want to take us in a different direction. I want to see how much I could stump everybody on the panel in the chat with a few older toys. I want to see how many of you guys remember some of these ones. Here's some more odd ones, like the Toy Break, something a little bit from the past. But if you were a kid from the early 80s, you should recognize these. And if you don't, you were sleepwalking all the way through the 80s. Here we go. Yo, guys, what's going on? Tommy here with our good buddy, Cringer. Cringer! What's up, Cringer? Oh, Mr. Super Fluffy Pants. And we're going to talk about some old school stuff that some of you may have never seen before. So growing up in the 1980s, we've seen a lot of strange things, but how many of you remember seeing this weird thing? Sometimes called the magic snake, sometimes called the puzzle snake. This was created in 1981, strangely enough, by Rubik, who in 1971 in Hungary created the Rubik's Cube, which became a sensation. And basically this toy had unlimited possibilities after twisting and turning and being able to put it in a bunch of different shapes. You guys remember seeing something like this? Of course, other companies followed on the success of the Rubik's Cubes, such as Ideal with the Missing Link toy, another puzzle-solving toy, and LGN with the Whip It. You guys remember these ones? Like these ones. I actually had a few other ones I can't seem to find. This is all I actually have left from my original collection. Somewhere I had a couple of Rubik's Cubes too, including an ET version. But guys, this is when things were a little bit more simple, a little bit more based on just the fun of it. So one of the weird ones that I have sitting in the collection right now is this Stimpy from 1992. Stupidly simple. You just grab on the head and pull it up and just kind of opens his mouth up and closes it. That's pretty much it. No real articulation. Arms just move up and down, and the legs just move a little bit. And this one comes, I believe this was 1986 or 87, and I believe this guy's name was Stondar from the Masters of the Universe collection. Kind of like following up what they did with Rock Lords, with the Gobots. Yeah, I believe he came with something that you put in the chest and it kind of fired out or something, I believe. I don't know. It's been so long, I really do forget. This one is from 1997 and from Burger King, and it's a little bit hard to see because he is still sealed in the packaging, but you just make out the creature from the Black Lagoon from Universal Studios Monsters. I know we had all four of them somewhere. Just unfortunately, they're not all sitting in the same box right now, so. Yeah, man. I do remember pickup sticks. I also remember having a big giant playset for Lincoln Logs.
Yep. And yes, I am stoned, so what?
Yeah, but I remember them like Rubik Cube like ball thing that was like you could do it in like a snake sort of thing pattern, because it came in like, I remember you could either get them in black or white or red or white.
Hey, Time Prophet, I see you got to pop off for a minute, man. If you make it back in time, awesome. If not, I hope they have a good one. And what's going on, Drew? What is up, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Guys, if you haven't yet, if you haven't been able to share it out or you just didn't notice, be sure to check out Drew's Memorial Fund, trying to honor his mother's wishes and try to take care of everything related with her passing, including her funeral services. If you will, if you can't help out, at least share that around over on social media of your choice and get the word out there for Drew. Thank you so much. If somebody has that link, could you drop it in the chat? Lasso, already on it. Thank you, Lasso. Awesome. I got to step out. See you later. Ladies and gentlemen, guinea pigs and hamsters, do gerbils still exist? I sure hope not. I hate gerbils. So how many of these things did you guys remember?
I remember everything of the puzzle things except that last one you showed.
The Whippet?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I oh my God. You know what? Like some of the other ones I had, and this was like my favorite toy in the early 80s growing up, is I had the damn Kabangers.
Well,
I'm trying to remember what they called them in other places. It was the thing where it had like the little keychain ring. It had two long pieces of nylon rope that ended in these big giant glass. Originally, they were glass balls. Later on, they started making them out of Jesus, what's that plastic they use for everything where they coat stuff? Epoxy.
Laminate.
Epoxy. They started making them out of epoxy. So basically, you would grab it in the center of the ring and you would lift your hand up, and then it would be almost like, not exactly like a yo-yo, but these giant freaking balls on the end of this rope would clang back and forth. I think they called them clackers over in the UK.
Yeah.
But I used to have so much fun with those things. And if you got irritated with somebody because they got these big heavy balls in the end, you could use that bitch like a freaking like a bolo and toss it after somebody. Bean them right in the back of the head, man.
Yep, slay Goliath with your rubber ball.
Lincoln Logs were awesome. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
Erector sets.
Oh, yeah, the original Erector sets that had the motors and everything. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Those things were fun. God, what they had a stupid little game called Tiddlywinks.
Yep.
Where you had a cup and you had these little plastic chips and you had to try to flip the chips off a base thing to get them in the cups.
Yeah. It's like one of the most classic games, Tiddlywinks. Got a game of Tiddlywinks. That was fucking one of the phrases. But I remember the He-Man rock dude and all.
I
never got him.
There were two of them.
Right. Yeah.
Those guys were the peg warmers in my local toy store. Nobody those fucking guys.
They were, you know what? And I forgot how cheap they were until I actually found this one sitting in the box and I pulled it out and checked. And they just feel so cheap. Like they feel like dollar store material that you would see out there now.
Yeah.
I mean, this was coming towards the end of the freaking Masters of the Universe line.
Yeah.
So
true.
When the fucking fucked up on She-Ra.
Dude, some of the remakes they've made though prior to like the stuff that Walmart has now, because the stuff Walmart has now is pretty spot on, you know, the retro series and whatnot. But when we didn't have a Walmart retro series, like the stuff how you had to get them at conventions and you'd get the Castle Grayskull that was a little bit bigger than like the one that Pete has or the one that you had, but still it just was so reminiscent of the actual toys. Then when you busted out the newer version, you know, good God, man, the way how close those were.
Oh, they did a really good job. I mean, I think especially on something like the Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that looks so much like the original one with just a few new additions for the newer figures that have like the pegs in the bottom of the feet. They put some pegs on there just so they could stand up and not fall off. But yeah, it looks so much like the original one. I was like, I was blown away by what a tremendous job they did. And they didn't skimp on the plastic either. That's another big thing they do a lot of with these remakes is they skimp on plastic. The origin line that they're doing right now with Mattel, they are not skimping at all.
Which is good. That's how it should be. Make this stuff to last like they used to.
Exactly.
I mean,
proof. Well, you know, ETEP talks about it all the time, how he takes some of those things and he kind of gives them the tray to play with and everything like that. And there's nothing better than that, being able to share something from your childhood with a younger child. So they grow up appreciating it.
Exactly.
There's actually quite a few of them I didn't have, Lasso. Don't be fooled. It seems like a lot, but you got to remember, I was going back and collecting some of these things like sometimes well after the fact of when they came out, or maybe one of my aunts or uncles had given it to me. So I mean, sometimes I just got lucky and I got stuff that I really wanted. A lot of times I had to go find it for myself. Yeah, Erector sets, man. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
So Supreme Heretic erection sets are very different in Britain. Got to be careful if somebody steals your erection set.
That's right.
Yeah, you fucked that. Yeah, you're watching Shield for the rest of your life.
This is a Frank controller. I mean, he ate the wheels. Like, it was no joke. This was a Frank controller, and this is the one he was playing with when he somehow got this one to work that wouldn't work for me for days. He got this brand new wannabe controller. I don't know what the hell the dog did, but it now works. It now will turn on my PS4.
Well, I'm gonna tell you just like this. He did not bite those controllers. He customized them.
Yes. He fabricated them. Yes. It's true. It's damn true.
It's true.
Yes.
We have an erection set after 2 Viagra.
And now we have soft plastic, and it's all your fault because you had to have that blue pill.
Oh, terrible people out there. Guys, open platform. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Robin Williams said it best. Your body can produce enough for one or the other, but not both. There you go.
Nice. Controller cases. But I really didn't have anything else on my docket to talk about. So unless you guys have something else, we'll just go around the corner and we'll close out.
I got nothing.
Okay. What you got, Jens?
Well, I was going to talk about balls, as in just any old balls, because great, them thingy ones, you know, where they're about the size of a golf ball, but they're real bouncy.
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else with what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
The Joker hacky sack?
That's right.
Oh, yeah, no.
He said balls.
Yeah, but that's not a ball. That's a sack. It's not a ball. Well, it's got little balls in it, though.
The difference between a ball and a sack, it's Jens.
Yeah. Well, I was saying...
The ball goes in the sack.
Them little bouncy balls that were size of a cricket ball. You remember them? You know? Yeah, where they just bounce all over. You could lose them very easily if it's concrete. But we used to drop them off Fair Story sort of levels and that, so you can bounce it back up and catch it.
Yep, like the Super Balls and shit too. But yeah, here's one.
Yeah,
here's a ball.
Yeah. They were really bouncy in that. But yeah, sometimes they get cut up and that stuff, but made out of rubber and that. So yeah, you have to be a bit careful. Yeah, great though.
Well, what you had to do is you had to take those damn things and put them in the freezer, so you can make them rock hard and then toss them at somebody. Like, hey, you want to catch this? Oh no! When you put them in the freezer, they turn into almost like rocks.
Deadly weapon.
Yeah, cap guns. Yeah. One of the topics I'm going to have for next week is it's not necessarily a cap gun, but it does fire caps, and it's going to be the RoboCop figures from 1988, I think it was.
Nice. Yeah, it was late.
Yeah, because you used to put the caps in the back. So I got I got 2 versions of RoboCop that'll be showing off next week, and I have the Ed 209.
They had cops too. CPS.
Yes.
Fighting crime in the future time. They had every one of them came with weapons that you put the little paper caps in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I freaking remember all the damn really cool cap guns they had, and then they just started disappearing. Ugh.
Well, the old paper snaps, man. The Western style gun with the paper snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those too. Then you had the detective ones that had the 6-shot, looked like a 38.
Yep.
So many different versions of that stuff. And then we got older, and then you had the laser tag. That was the next big thing.
I've got an original laser tag, like one of the early design ones.
Laser tag and photon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Remember them? Do you remember them like little bomb things you could get, where you'd stick a like little cap in and that, and then throw them at the ground?
Yeah,
and they'd explode.
Snappets.
Yeah, snappets.
Yeah.
I think they still make them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because I seem to recall my daughter playing with those damn things, and we picked them up at a dollar store, I think it was.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I'm not. Look, are you talking about the ones that look like they're wrapped in a sig paper?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about. There was like a metal sort of like.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It was the bomb, and it came with like you put one single little plastic cap in there. It was like they were like the little plastic cap ones that sit right over a nipple inside the bomb, and then you would drop it, and then it would boom. It would trigger it and pop it.
Yeah,
yep, I remember them. Lasso Truth, thank you so much for doing that. You guys, I mean, when you're always doing this stuff, it helps out so much.
Thank you.
Cheers. That's all.
Yeah, I gotta find my old laser tag guns. I know I have them somewhere back there. They came with the stupid chest armor piece where it just had that freaking.
The Photon Show is on YouTube. If anyone feels like watching something cheesy as hell.
Oh yeah. So I recently tried the Mark Wahlberg burger. So it's that plant-based protein burger.
Oh, sorry.
It was pretty good. It wasn't bad.
Oh, sorry though.
You're gonna get Jens started.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, I'm all right because it won't be me who's be going through a sex change.
Oh Jesus!
That's what they do.
Take your manhood.
Everything that man just said is bullshit.
Yeah, well, everyone you met probably fucking hasn't got a medical degree because it's not bullshit, it's fact.
I don't know where you're going with this, but at this point,
I'm going nowhere with it. I'm trying to tell people not to go anywhere with it, but.
Well, I agree. Nobody should go near it. But...
Don't eat it. Don't eat it. That's what I said. Don't eat them, but you want to eat them, up to you.
Yeah, I would not ever recommend anybody eating any kind of soy products. Stay away from it. Your balls will shrink up. But guys, we're going to run around the horn. I need to get it off this computer. My back feels like it's caving in on itself. So let's go ahead and get started.
You know me, but I don't remember smelling you before. Who are you and where do you come from?
Doing another movie review this Wednesday. Zardoz, starring Sean Connery. That's it.
What's it about?
You got your normal crew members of Darius and Carol's Cookies as well?
Yep.
Awesome.
Anyone wants to come through, ask me during the week so I could throw you the invite.
Yeah, I got to see when I'm going to get done with this damn physical therapy and everything because it really does. It sucks the life out of me every time I got to go. And I got to go every Wednesday and Thursday.
I've had to go through physical therapy before. I know it's draining.
It sucks, man. It sucks. You don't realize it until you're going through that shit. And they always tell you you're going to feel better afterwards. Bullshit.
But yeah, that's it.
All right, Twitter, guys.
On Twitter and YouTube.
And make sure to check out Slasher McSplitter over on his channel Wednesday night. I believe you get rolling, what is that, around 10 or 11?
Well, it usually depends because we're usually still talking after the movie. So I don't really run on time. So I gotta work on that.
So guys, just look for that to be dropped. It'll be on Wednesday night. And be sure to stop by and check him out on Twitter so you can get the updates for that. Thank you for coming through, Slasher. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come through.
All right. And next up,
scan for identification.
Woohoo! At least I speak good English. Well, you'll catch me, here hanging out with Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective because it's always fun to talk about toys from the past. Tomorrow, possibly, I think, on the panel with Tony Tone Deaf and everybody for Clown World review for the Monday Night retrospective. Yes, Monday Night retrospective on Tuesday. Wednesday should be Digital Pollution, followed by, of course, Friday in the men's room. So just the usual normal runs. In the chat on so many channels, Cooling's place to be reviews, Vinny Art, Vinny Mac. So, good old Red Gaze. Unfortunately, wasn't able to, I wasn't in the right area of Pennsylvania to meet up with Mr. Gaze. So that didn't work out. Or Mr. Draven, Mr. Angelus Draven. So next time, maybe if I go a little bit further south. But yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. And thanks as always for having me on, Tommy.
No, man, you're always welcome to be on here, and I appreciate you coming through, man. It's always good to talk about this old stuff, and it's always fun to be able to share with other people that really do enjoy this as well. And next up, we got...
You don't know talking good like me and you, so his vocabularistics is limited.
Yeah, totally right, yeah. So we're going to probably do a stream tomorrow and that, like, be talk about soy nerds and that. Oh, I've got a video release and that, but it's all about soy nerds and that. And then I'll be doing the Bond stream probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday. So, yeah.
What are you gonna do? When you run the gauntlet of the Bonds, do you just start back over from the beginning?
No, I'm gonna stop it. I've had enough. It's like, because I'm in the Daniel Craig ones now, and so like I know if I do it again, I'm gonna have to go in the Daniel Craig ones. I'm not even gonna take any screenshots for the Daniel Craig ones. That's how much it's like. I have to talk about it.
You know what you should do? You should just come on and say, "This is the Daniel Craig Bond." That's it. Good night.
Cliff notes.
Yeah. I know.
This came out. It was in theaters. Good night.
Yeah, well, I did. Luckily enough, I have reviewed the worst Daniel Craig film, so I don't have to do that again. But
worst Bond.
Talking about, because it's not even James Bond either. It's like soft reboot of James Bond.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I'm gonna have to do it.
The dark times. Yes.
Guys, be sure to stop by and check out Jens. Be sure to also follow Jens on Twitter at 27A Pedersen. This way you can get those updates and you know exactly when he's going live, and you just never know what Jens is going to wind up saying, because Jens is a bundle of energy once he gets going.
Well, it's going to be mostly slagging off these sogging head bitches watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, because I'm just going to go in. It's fairly easy, because it's fucking even there, like, saying how shit it is. So it's like, oh, well, it's like shooting fish in the barrel.
Well, my question always is, if it's so terrible, why are you still watching it?
Yeah. Well, this is how shit it is, right? I've practically watched it because there's so much shit that there's been talking about it. It's like if I've practically watched it, which luckily enough I haven't watched it, so I haven't got the visuals. I've only got like the knowing that Obi-Wan Kenobi's a soy bitch and Darth Vader doesn't know how to jump over fire. So.
I don't know. I know I'm not going to watch it, and for all the people who continue to watch it and they complain about it, I just want to ask you this: on your off time, when you've gotten up better, do you punch yourself in the balls too? Guys, you have been here with the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. I really do appreciate you all stopping in. All the awesome people that have been in the chat: Nelson the Gentleman, Glinzer, Lasso Truth, of course, in the house, dropping all those links. My Sketchbook 340. I know our good buddy Drew, Supreme Heretic, also had come through. Drew, I hope you were doing well. It was good to see you. Bruce Lombardo had also stopped in. Wookie was in the house under Papa Cotton. Always good to see Wookie in the house as well. And you're always going to be Wookie to me, even though those bastards ruined it for you. And everybody else that has come through, Chaos Hoy, Frankie knows. Who else am I missing? Death by Saber was also in the house, guys. He does the Star Wars and Hose show later on tonight. If you want, stop by and check that out as well. Of course, a super fan in the chat and up on the panel as well, performing double duty. And Keck, I'm pretty sure Keck 44 was through earlier. I know I'm probably missing a couple people, guys. I can only go back so far through this chat, but thank you, every single one of you, for coming through. You make this stuff fun, and it's always a blast to share this stuff from the past with you, and so we can sit there and remember about why we're actually trying to defend this stuff today, because we're trying to defend it from people who don't care not only about culture, they don't care about your past and part of the things that made you who you are, because no matter what they try to say these are just stupid stories. They were just dumb comics. They were dumb TV shows. They were dumb movies. They were retarded toys. Guess what? These are the things that we grew up with. These are the things that enabled us to connect with other people. So you know what? When you sit there and dismiss them like that, you might as well be dismissing the culture of people that are long gone, like the myths of the ancient Greeks and the Romans. Well, we would know anything about those people if we didn't have those myths. This is the same type of stuff that we're dealing with now. These people trying to destroy our version of our myths, our modern day mythology, and it needs to be pointed out and it needs to be stopped. So guys, remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent. And we will catch you next time. Later, y'all.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Forget the pigs, you should spend. Assimilated, but you don't know yet. Attacking us is not very wise. Our army's growing if we see through your lies. What we are looking at, good and evil, right and wrong. It's a pig world order. pig world order. A pig world order. A pig world order. Somebody's gonna wind up getting their toes nibbled off in here. A pig world order. 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 Better hide your toes as we're coming for 'em. A pig world order. A pig world order. A pig world order.